What's up, YouTube? The Florence Trucker here, out at North American Stainless in Ghent, Kentucky, sitting in a very long line, waiting to get into bay C34 and load. Fortunately, today only one coil, 47,000 pound coil. And thank God for that, because I'm towing 3, 4, 5 coils, and that's a pain in the ass. Towing one, easy setup, easy go. But it's going to be a long wait. But this week's been interesting. Yesterday in particular was interesting. No, let me back up. Today is Wednesday. This would have been, I apologize, Monday morning. A whole slew of things happened on Monday morning. Kind of first time things for me. I was here at North American Steel. I picked up a load Sunday night and was staying here in their overnight lot. And they have a overnight lot that's like a truck stop. Slanted parking spots you can drive in front or behind. So you can pull into the stop, and then pull out and go. It's a little bit tighter than other truck stops, but it still works. So I got loaded up, tarped, weighed, and I only had about 50 minutes left on my clock, which wasn't going to get me close enough to a truck stop on my route. So I went ahead and went to the parking lot and set up shop for the night. Did my post trip, signed off, had some dinner, talked to the wife, watched TV, went to bed. Set my alarm for approximately 4:15 in the morning so I could start rolling early enough to get done what I needed to do. And I wake up and set my pre-trip to start looking at my truck. And I get out of the truck, and parked in front of me is a Swift truck driver. I'm like, okay. I don't know what his deal was, but okay. So I go behind me. I'm like, maybe I can back out of here. No, parked behind me was a Maverick truck driver. Now, I'm thinking I couldn't get out. There was no way out. In a truck stop, if someone's parked behind you, there's usually enough space for people to continue to drive through, but you can't turn in or back out, and that's fine. But you don't park in front of the trucks. Now, this Swift driver parked in front of me and 6 other rigs. He blocked all of us. So I did my post trip. I'm thinking, what am I going to do? I know I'm going to get out. How I'm going to get out of this? So I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to have to go bang on this guy's door. So I did my post trip, and I went and knocked on his door. Driver's side door, no answer. All right. Went around, knocked on his passenger side door, no answer. I'm like, okay. I guess I'm sitting here. So I waited about 15 minutes to see if someone would come out or wake up. What I didn't see was that one of the other trucks that had been blocked, 6 other trucks, was another Swift driver. And he got out, saw the Swift driver had blocked him, opened up his tool canister at the side of the truck, and pulled out a rubber mallet about this big, a rubber mallet, and started just waylaying on this guy's door. And he must have hit the door constantly for about 20 seconds before the Swift driver that was blocking us came out and was like, what the fuck? What are you doing? And this other Swift driver was like, what do you mean, what am I fucking doing? You're blocking all of us. We can't get out. He's like, fuck you, I park where I want. And these two, I thought these two were going to go to blows. I just kind of said, I wish I had had my phone on me and I had videotaped this. I can't do it enough justice. So these two cats from Swift are arguing with each other for about 20 minutes. I thought they were going to come to blows. Finally, the Swift driver that's blocking us gets dressed and pulls his truck out of the way. So here I am almost an hour later than I wanted to leave. I pull out and I start driving. I'm like, okay. So dealt with that. Crossed the Markland Dam Bridge and got onto Indiana 421. Now, Indiana 421 is a state road. Single lane highway, no shoulders. You have to come out of the valley. You have to go up a hill, and there was ice out there. So I'm going through there at about 15 miles an hour. And there's a car behind me. I couldn't tell what kind of car it was until it passed me, but it was a Mustang once it passed me. So I'm going up around these hills about 15 miles an hour. I can feel my truck sliding. Okay, I can feel it slide a little bit to the left and the right. I'm taking it easy. I've got 47,000 pounds worth of coils on there. I'm not doing anything stupid. I come around the third left turn, and this Mustang, I guess he had just had it. He throws the gas on and comes around me. And when he gets to my fender mirror, he hits his gas even harder, and he tears up this hill, and the hill goes up around a corner up to the top, and you can't see it. It turns to the right, and he disappears. So I make it up to that part of the hill about 2 minutes later, only to find that Mustang is in a ditch. He had gone straight off the road into a ditch. And I'm thinking, the road is icy. Where did you need to be in this big a rush? I pulled over to the again. There's no shoulders on this road, so I stop in the middle of the road. I put my hazards on. I get out. I go to offer assistance, see if he's okay. He says, yeah, he's fine. He's just gonna call a tow truck and don't worry about him. Okay. So I went on my way. 421, like I said, single lane highway, no shoulders. It normally takes me about 90 minutes to get through it till I can get to 85. It took me about 2.5 hours because of the speed I was driving because of the ice. So, but during that time, 4 other cars passed me. 1 semi-tanker passed me. He was braver than I was. I don't know, maybe he must be more experienced with driving on ice. But all these cars are passing me. But I'm seeing as I pass down the road, all these cars, not the ones that passed me necessarily, but all these cars are in accidents. There's an accident here. There's a car that slid off here. There was one of the Amish buggies that had slid off the road. These poor guys are hooking their horses up and pulling this thing out from a buggy that had slid off the road. And those things don't move more than, 3 or 4 miles an hour? But it was stupid icy, stupid cold, and people are just driving nuts. And then they're getting mad at me for taking my time. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing that. I don't care personally what you think, but I'm not killing anybody. So anyway, we get on 85, and 85, it's been treated. A couple wet spots, but nothing serious. We were able to do about 60 miles an hour for most of the way. Uneventful until I got up towards Gary. And once I get into the Gary and the Chicago area, the CB Channel 19, more talk starts happening. And once I pass the Gary terminal, I'm hearing more chatter online or on the CB about, take it slow. There was an accident here, bypass here, things that truckers tell each other to help each other out. And then out of the blue, this guy gets on the CB. Middle Eastern accent, and warning in advance for the language. I wish I recorded because, again, I couldn't do it justice. Starts going on about how he's going to fuck every trucker's mother, and fuck you guys, fuck this, I'll fuck all of you, I'll shit down your necks, just for I don't know what his problem was, but he went on for about 5 minutes, and these other truckers are trying to step on him, they're trying to squash him, trying to get him off the net. But I don't know if he had a more powerful CB or what, but he was able to keep going until a female voice came on. Strong Southern accent, young woman, sounded young, strong Southern accent. And she tried to match wits with this guy. And she's talking about how only a guy whose dick he couldn't see would be talking like this. And why does she come meet his mama? Her mama would whoop his ass. They're going back and forth. They're just running their mouths to each other. And then this guy, he's trying to step his game up. He's talking about how he'll shoot her in the head and fuck her in the skull hole. And I'm like, this isn't what the CB's for, but okay. But this girl's holding her own. She's taking him on. She's responding. She's emasculating him in the most disgusting ways possible, taking him down into the gutter. And finally, after about 15 minutes of that, a state trooper gets on and says this conversation is ended immediately, or he'll find both of them and have them arrested. Now, I don't know that it was a state trooper. I don't know that any state trooper is wasting their time monitoring the CBs. I have no idea. But he sounded real, and the talk stopped just like that. It just ended. So maybe you guys can tell me, anybody know police officers that monitor this stuff or can have the authority to do that? I mean, it's a free airwave. It could have been another trucker who just tired of it, ran his mouth and said this was going to happen, and it stopped. I don't know. But once that happened, I kept going, and all of a sudden traffic stopped near the Dan Ryan, and it was slow going. And the CB traffic, no one's sure what's going on initially until we get up closer. I'm about 2 miles from the accident. It's about an hour in traffic I'm in there. I get up about approximately 2 miles from the accident, and one of the CB guys says a Western Express truck has gone off the road, a semi-truck. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. Let's hope he's okay. Turns out the driver was okay, but when I got up there, this Western Express driver, the speed limit on the Dan Ryan is 55. The roads were pretty clear. They'd been salted. They were dry for the most part. I don't know how he did it, but the Dan Ryan runs 4 lanes both ways. Then there's a median or a barrier on your outside, a chain link fence, and then another one-way road on the other side of that fence. This Western Express driver had jumped the barrier, gone through the fence, over the one-way road on the other side, and up an embankment, a steep embankment, to where his truck was literally sitting in a moon shape like this, with his semi pointed towards the sky, and his trailer on the ground. It was a drive-in. I don't know. Maybe you guys would not. How do you do that? How does a semi truck go through all that and end up that at 55 miles an hour? I'm glad he was okay, because that was. I've been doing this long enough, but that looks like it would have been a career ender. At least with rail, I'm sure it would have been, because something negligent probably had to happen for that to happen. Got through it, got to North American Steel, and that was probably the only solid, smooth thing that happened all day. I got in there, untarped, they unchained, and they unloaded me. I was out of there within 90 minutes and back on the road, heading back towards Ghent. So probably one of the most eventful days I've had in a long time. Maybe you guys have had more. I'm sure you have, because remember, I drive dedicated, so I just drive the same route back and forth. But I thought I'd share, because it was an interesting day. Maybe some of you experienced it, maybe you haven't. Some of you had talked to me, left comments about being in training. I hope you guys are doing well. Appleton, Conley, Marshfield, and Gary. Some of you guys are there. I hope you guys had a good holiday. Remember just to stay with it. Stick to the books. I think you guys are down to 3-week training cycles. I was on the 4 weeks, so you guys are pushed just that much harder. Stay with it. We want you to be part of the rail family. We want you to come on board. 2 of the biggest things I'm sure you know now that you'll struggle with are your pre-trip and your backing. Pre-trip, at night, go home, shower, eat, turn on some music, and study. Properly mounted, secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken, not cut, torn, or frayed. That's a statement that's going to save you during your pre-trip. Your backing, you can only back so many times, but stick with it. Don't get depressed or discouraged, because it's all about getting the CDL. That's your only focus in phase 1 right now, is your CDL. Phase 2 is when you're going to learn everything. You're going to get out there with your trainer, learn some stuff, and then phase 3, if your first week is anything like mine, it's going to be bumpy as hell, but you'll enjoy every minute with it. So we wish you the best. Stick with it. If you have any questions, hit me up. Comments or concerns, hit me up. I'll be around. I try to check this a couple times a day based on how things are driving. I'm going to be here most of the day. This line is ridiculously long, and I think I've only got 6 hours left on my clock. Yeah, I've got 6.5 hours left on my clock, so if they don't speed this up, I might be staying here. But hit me up, let me know if you guys need anything, and until next time.